The day I pulled up to my ranch gate and saw those iron bars bolted across it, my heart dropped like a rock in a parched riverbed. My truck's tires skidded, kicking up a cloud of Texas dust that burned my eyes, but not as much as the sight of that barricade. My land, 800 acres of Turner's Hollow, handed down through 4 generations, was my haven, my slice of peace after years of chaos. Now, some HOA had the nerve to lock me out of my own home. A sign hung there, smug as a used car salesman's grin. Access restricted. Blue Water, HOA zone. No entry without approval. I'm Nate Harrison, 45, a former Marine turned cattle rancher, living out my days with my dog, Rusty, on this sprawling patch outside Austin. I'd traded the madness of deployments for wide skies and open fields, the kind of quiet you can't buy. But the Blue Water HOA, led by a guy named Leonard Walsh, had other plans. Leonard was the type who'd starch his chinos for a walk to the mailbox 60, slicked back hair, drove a BMW with a license plate reading LW1, and carried a clipboard like it was a crown. He'd moved into the gated community a half-mile down the dirt road to my ranch and acted like he owned every inch of it, including my driveway. It started small, flyers in my mailbox about neighborhood aesthetics, notes suggesting I repaint my barn to match their standards. My land's been free of HOA nonsense since my granddad signed a preservation clause in '69, but Leonard and his crew, Gladys, a nosy retiree who'd spy over my fence with binoculars, and Carl, their number cruncher who once asked for my water permits for the records, kept pushing. A month before the gate incident, I'd caught a surveyor snooping around my fence line, claiming Leonard hired him to clarify boundaries. Then my mailbox got smashed, a note inside. Order is coming. I shrugged it off, thinking they'd give up. Then Rusty disappeared for a day, limping home with a cut paw and a Blue Water HOA tag zip-tied to his collar, a message scrawled on it. Keep him leashed. When I saw that locked gate, my blood didn't just boil, it exploded. It wasn't just the bars, it was every jab, every smirk, every time they treated my home like their playground. I snapped a photo, called the sheriff, and learned the road had been quietly rezoned as shared access while I was out of town. Leonard had greased some palms at the county office, and no one bothered to tell me. That's when I decided I wasn't just tearing down that gate, it was tearing down their whole game. I was going to buy the land they leaned on, every blade of grass they bragged about, and make them choke on their own rules. I called my cousin, Sarah, a land lawyer with a knack for flipping the script. Over beers at my kitchen table, she laid it out. Nate, we don't just sue them. We buy the ground they're standing on, trails, ponds, the works, and make them pay to sneeze on it. With my savings, a chunk of veteran benefits, and a loan against the ranch, we had enough to move. Sarah set up a shell company, Starpoint Ventures, and we started buying old ranchers, tax-strapped families, folks tired of Leonard's reign. They sold to us quietly. In 3 weeks, we owned 60% of the land around Blue Water, including their precious nature trail and the lake view Leonard loved to pose in front of for HOA newsletters. But Leonard didn't sit still. One morning, my ranch hand, Diego, called me to the north field. Boss, you gotta see this. My irrigation line, the lifeblood of my herd, was buried under fresh concrete, a Blue Water logo spray-painted dead center. They'd snuck in at night, cut my water, and didn't care if my cattle starved. I saw red. That night, I rented a jackhammer, and at 3 a.m., with Rusty howling at the moon, I ripped that slab apart, concrete flying like shrapnel. By dawn, the water flowed again. Leonard showed up at noon, clipboard in hand, Gladys and Carl flanking him like goons. You're destroying community property, Harrison, he sneered, his voice dripping with fake calm. I didn't look up from the pipe I was fixing. This ain't your community, Len. Never was. He leaned in, close enough I could smell his cologne. You'll regret this. We've got lawyers. I stood, wiped the dirt off my hands, and met his eyes. Good. Tell them to bring a map, 'cause I own the dirt you're standing on. Gladys gasped, clutching her binoculars. Carl muttered about fines. They stormed off, but I knew they weren't done. Sarah and I kept buying. By month's end, we had 80% of their landscape, every picnic spot, every dog path, every inch they used to flex their power. We sent a letter, cold and official. Starpoint Ventures now controls Blue Water's surrounding land. To maintain access, HOA dues will triple, effective immediately. Noncompliance means locked gates. Leonard lost it. I heard he threw a chair at a town hall meeting when residents saw their dues jump from $250 to $750. Half the board quit. Carl stood up, pointed at Leonard, and yelled, "You screwed us, Walsh, and you poked a damn bear." Gladys stormed out, sobbing about her ruined retirement. I didn't stop there. On the lot by their Entrancia prime spot Leonard had tried to buy for years, I put up a billboard, blood-red letters screaming, "Private property. Trespassers find Starpoint Ventures." The neighborhood buzzed. Some folks, fed up with Leonard's iron fist, started calling me, asking to lease plots for gardens or sheds. One couple, Ben and Lila, met me at the fence, heads low. "We're sorry, Nate," Ben said. "We paid dues, kept quiet, but Leonard's lost it. Can we grow some veggies on your land?" I grinned. "Help me fix a fence, and you've got a deal." Then Leonard pulled a dirty trick. The feds showed UPA Bureau of Land Management suit, all polished shoes and paperwork, saying they'd gotten anonymous complaints about my land use, claiming I was blocking public trails and hurting the environment. My jaw dropped. They poured concrete in my ditch, burned my hay shed, and I'm the bad guy? The agent shrugged. "File a counterclaim, but your fences and drones are on hold." Drones? Yeah, I'd set up a camera on a pole to watch their clubhouse, streaming it online to keep them honest. Leonard called it psychological warfare. I called it proof that shed fire wasn't an accident. The sheriff found gasoline traces and a piece of Leonard's signature clipboard, singed but damning. Then their clubhouse got vandalized, smashed windows, graffiti, and Leonard swore it was me. My camera showed I was home, but the damage was done. One night, I caught two figures sneaking across my land, tossing firecrackers to spook me, then lighting a blaze by my generator. The footage was gold. One guy limped, flashing a gold watch I'd seen on Leonard's wrist. I sent it to the sheriff, the feds, everyone. Suddenly, Leonard was the one sweating. The neighborhood cracked open. Ben and Lila spread the word. Residents were done. They petitioned to oust Leonard and dissolve the HOA. He vanished, house dark, car gone. I offered the remaining board a deal. In the HOA, drop all complaints, and I'd waive 6 months of dues, letting them use the trails under my terms. They caved. A letter arrived, signed by 2 shell-shocked board members. "Leonard's out. HOA's done. Let's start over." I read it with Rusty at my side, his tail thumping like he knew we'd won. Weeks later, clearing a trail, I found a bag Leonard had stuffed with fake permits, bribe receipts, even a burner phone. The sheriff nabbed him in Oklahoma, trying to scam another land deal. He copped a plea. 3 years probation, $100,000 in fines, banned from HOAs forever. My gate swung open again. Water flowed, and neighbors started waving. But then the county threw a curveball. My land buys had spiked property taxes for Blue Water homes, some quadrupling. I felt a pang. Most folks weren't Leonard. They were just caught in his mess. So I pitched the Harrison Compact. Work on the ranch, fix trails, plant gardens, teach kids about cattle, and I'd rebate their taxes. Ben and Lila started a community plot. Old Mrs. Clara and her book club painted my new learning barn, bringing pie every Sunday. Even Quiet Tom, a former board member, carved benches for the trails, each dedicated to a local vet. The ranch hummed with life, better than I'd ever dreamed. Leonard's billboard? I kept it but changed the words. Turner's Hollow, built on respect. Below it, a small plaque, in memory of HOA greed. Never again. We threw a party to unveil kids on bikes, ribs on the grill, music echoing over the hills. I gave a quick speech, nothing fancy. I didn't fight to win. I fought so no one else has to feel trapped on their own land. This ranch isn't just mine, no, it's ours. Folks clapped, some teared up, and Rusty barked like he was leading the charge. Then old man Amos, the rancher who sold me that key entrance lot, pulled up in his beat-up Chevy. He hadn't shown his face since the deal. He handed me a faded sign, with chipped but words clear. Fences hold land, but respect holds people. We nailed it to the gatepost, right where Leonard's bars once stood. That same week, the county made it official. My land was now a private ranch district, untouchable by any HOA forever. We burned a clipboard that night, flames high, laughter louder. But here's the twist that keeps me up some nights. Those tax hikes are hitting hard. Some folks can't volunteer enough to offset them.